Hello my music friends, thanks for watching Harmony Hub. Today I will talk about the augmented, diminished and enharmonic intervals. An interval that is one half step more than a major or a perfect interval is an augmented interval if the numerical value of the interval stays the same. On the other hand, an interval that is one half step less than a minor or a perfect interval is a diminished interval if the numerical value of the interval stays the same. To further explain the statements, you see a number of white boxes on this slide. Each white box indicates one half step. We're going to start the journey by having a two notes on the minor third interval. For example, B to D is a minor third because from B to D is a third, B, C, D. And in between B and D, there are three half steps. That's why this is a minor third. If we add a half step to this minor third, to B and D, B is going to stay the same. I'm going to make this interval, this minor third interval, by adding one half step into it by adding a sharp sign to the D. Now it becomes B to D sharp. B to D sharp is still a third because B to D, B, C, D. By adding the sharp to the D, now this interval has four half steps. That's why from B to D sharp is a major third. This is B and D. This is B and D sharp. It's a little brighter than a minor third. To explain the first statement on the previous slide, we know that from B to D sharp is a major third from here. If we add another half step to this major third, it will become an augmented third. So it was from B to D sharp. Now we will add another sharp to the D sharp. So the D sharp becomes a D double sharp. So this is a symbol for double sharp. B to D double sharp. B to D is still a third. B to D double sharp now has five half steps. That's why from B to D double sharp is an augmented third. On the other end, B to D is a minor third. For the second statement on the previous slide, if we take one half step from a minor third, then the third will become a diminished third. From B to D is a minor third. From here, we're going to get rid of one half step from B to D by adding a flat to the D. So now it's B to D flat. B to D flat is still a third. Now it only has two half steps. One less than three half steps from the minor third interval. Therefore, from B to D flat is a diminished third. Let's work on something on a perfect interval. E to A is a perfect fourth because from E to A, E, F, G, A is a fourth, and then it has five half steps. That's why this is a perfect fourth. If we add a half step to this interval, again, I'm going to have the E stay. E to A is a perfect fourth. I want to make it one half step wider from E. So I'm going to add a sharp to the A. Now it's E to A sharp. E to A sharp is still a fourth. Now it has six half steps, which makes it a augmented fourth. On the other end, from E to A, this is a perfect fourth. Now we will take one half step from E to A by adding flat to the A. Now what we have is E to A flat. E to A flat is a fourth that only has four half steps, which makes it a diminished fourth. So what happens if we get rid of one half step from a diminished fourth? Okay, this is an extra bit of information. Now we know that from E to A flat is a diminished fourth. Now we will take one half step off. Excuse my drawing. All of these boxes should be of equal size. We're going to get rid of one more half step by adding another flat to the A. Now the A becomes a double flat. So now we have E to A double flat, which only has 3 half steps. This is what we call a doubly diminished fourth. On the other end, from E to A sharp is an augmented fourth. So 1. We're going to add one more half step by adding another sharp to the A. So the A becomes A double sharp, which consists of 7 half steps. We call this a doubly augmented fourth. Now let's move on to enharmonic equivalence in intervals. Enharmonic intervals are the intervals that sound the same but spelled or notated differently. Here is one example: a major third and a diminished fourth. From C to E is a major third because C, D, E is a third and it consists of 4 half steps. That's why this is a major third. A diminished fourth, C to F, is a perfect fourth. We're going to take one half step away from C to F by adding a flat to the F. Now C to F flat is a diminished fourth, which also consists of 4 half steps. And C to E and C to F flat, they sound exactly the same, but they are spelled differently, one with an E, the other with an F flat. So we can say that these 2 intervals are enharmonic. Another example: a minor third and an augmented second. D to F is a minor third because from D to F, D, E, F is a third and it consists of 3 half steps. D to E is a second because D, E, and it consists of 2 half steps. So this is a major second. We're going to make this major second a half step wider by adding a sharp to the E. Now it becomes D to E sharp. D to F sounds like this. D to E sharp sounds the same. But on the music, they are spelled differently. That's why there are enharmonic intervals. I have been adding accidentals on the top notes of all of these examples, but you can also add or get rid of one half step by adding accidentals to the bottom notes as well. Another example on enharmonic intervals: augmented fourth and diminished fifth. F to B is an augmented fourth because from F to D is F, G, A, B is a fourth and it consists of 6 half steps. That's why this is an augmented fourth. F to C is a perfect fifth because F, G, A, B, C is a fifth and it has 7 half steps. But now we only need 6 half steps for this to be a diminished fifth. I'm going to narrow the interval down by a half step by adding a flat to the C. So now we have F to C flat. C flat and B natural, they are enharmonic, which makes these intervals enharmonic intervals. So from F to B, it sounds like F to C flat sounds the same, but they are spelled differently, one with B natural, the other with C flat. Augmented fourth and diminished fifth are also known as the tritone. The tritone. Tri means 3. Tone means whole tones or whole steps. So for an augmented fourth, there are 3 whole tones. This is the first one. This is a half step plus a half step is a whole step. This is a whole step. This is another whole step. So there are 3 whole steps or 3 whole tones. So is this. There are 6 half steps, which means 3 whole steps, which also means a tritone. Tritone is also known as the diabolus in musica, which translates to the devil in music. Why? Because it gives us a foreboding quality, a quality that is not coming to us, and it sounds ominous. Just to improvise something on the tritone intervals. Okay, this is a tritone. Okay, it consists of B and F. I hope you are ready for some foreboding music. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks for watching Harmony Hub. I will see you next time.